my name is Miss Danielle. I'm the Youth Services Coordinator at the Watson Branch Library, and I want to welcome you guys today to Autumn Crafts for All. So today we're going to be making some fun fall-themed crafts out of items you can find at home and out in nature. So before we get started, I want to show you guys what sort of supplies we'll be working with. Okay, so before we get started with our crafts, I'm going to show you guys what sorts of materials we're going to be using today. So you can collect some things from outside like twigs, you can collect some leaves today. I have this seed pod that looked really cool, and rocks, basically whatever you can kind of find outside that just looks really interesting to you, and that's sort of in the autumn theme. You're also going to need some paint, a paintbrush, a hot glue gun, some clay, scissors, a marker, cardstock, and newspaper. Okay, so our first craft is going to be some newspaper leaf imprint rubbings. And one thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about the supplies is we will be needing some crayons. So try and grab some crayons and some nice pretty fall colors that will really make your leaves stand out. So first thing you want to do is take your leaf and your newspaper. You're going to place it just under one sheet of newspaper, like that, and lay it nice and flat. Then you're going to take a crayon. I'm going to pick this orange, and you're just going to gently color over the leaf. You want to try and keep it in place. And what it will do is create this really cool imprint on here. So you can do that with a lot of different kinds of leaves to make different kind of shapes. And after that, you're going to cut it out. I'm going to put my newspaper over to the side over here. So you just want to cut around your leaf imprint. And since sometimes with crayons, the detail of the leaves can get kind of lost, because if you look at a leaf, you can see there's like all sorts of little veins and things like that in it. If some of those details have been lost, what you can do is just take another crayon in a nice autumn color, and you can just kind of draw those back in with a crayon, or you can use a marker. And when you're all done with that, they make like a really nice little decoration for maybe a scrapbook, or I'll show you guys what I made. You can get some twine and make a nice little leaf garland, kind of like this one. So that's some things that you can do with your little leaves after you have cut them out. All right, you guys, so our next craft is going to be an autumn leaf insect. So when you're outside looking around at leaves, you're picking up whatever leaves and sort of twigs and things you're interested in. You can take a piece of cardstock and then kind of imagine a little insect for yourself. So take a look at what sort of pieces you have. One thing I had picked up was this seed pod, because it kind of reminds me of like the stomach of a little bug. So to start, you want to take some hot glue, and if you are very young and need some help with a hot glue gun, please get a grown-up to help you. So, my seed pod is a little crunchy, but that's okay. We're just going to make sure it's nice and secure on the paper. And then we're going to add some wings. So you might want to kind of test and see where you would like your insect wings to go before you glue them down. I kind of want mine to look like a butterfly. So I think that's where my wings are going to go. So once you've decided where you're going to put your wings, you can take some hot glue and glue it to the back of your leaves and place them firmly so that they form some really cool insect wings. Tuck this one in a little bit. And if you don't want to make an insect, you can always make something like a flower or another animal, really any shape you want. I just chose an insect because I think that the leaves remind me of insect wings, and I thought that would be really fun to make. So I think all that's missing on my insect are some little antennas. So I'm going to take a twig right here and just break it a little bit and make a spot for some antennas for my little bug. All right, and we're all done. It's a little, I made a little butterfly, so hopefully you guys have fun with that craft. I really enjoyed that one. Okay, so our last craft is going to be this really cool leaf pendant necklace. So I made this one the other day and I painted it orange and I added some twine to it just to give it a kind of a fun fall feel. So we're going to make this out of some air dry clay and one of the leaves that we collected outside. So let me show you how it's done. You're going to take some clay. I probably have a little more than what I actually need, so I'm going to break this one in half. And you're going to roll it into a ball. And this ball is roughly like an inch tall and an inch wide. And you're going to flatten it out. You can get a rolling pin, you can use your hand, you can use a bottle, you can really use anything. I work with clay quite a bit, so I'm used to just flattening it out with my hands. And you want it to be roughly 1/4 inch thick. And you want to make sure it is big enough to fit the imprint of your leaf. So this is the leaf I chose, and it looks like my clay is just big enough. And you're going to roll and press the leaf into the clay. I know mine cracked a little bit, but I think it kind of gives it a nice character because you can kind of see all the little lines and stuff. So after you do that, you want to peel the clay off, and I have some newspaper today for my clay to pull it off. You can use parchment paper. It just makes it easier to pull off once, you know, before it dries and everything. But after you take it off the paper, you're going to cut it out. You can use a clay knife, you can use scissors. We actually have some clay cutting kits at the library as part of our learning collection. Ours is checked out right now, so today I just have some scissors. But yeah, you can get all sorts of things at the library like that for crafts. We also have a lot of really cool databases online. Like I actually got this idea from one of our databases called Creative Bug. It has a lot of videos on crafts, and I saw this one in a jewelry making video. So you can get a lot of cool ideas from there. Alrighty. You do want to be careful with the clay because it is kind of floppy right now since it's not dry. It definitely is easier to cut these with a clay knife, but scissors will do in a pinch. So take any of your clay and put it to the side, and you want to let your clay dry for 24 hours before you paint it, just so like if it kind of cracks a little bit, it doesn't mess up the paint. But I kind of like how that looks whenever my clay dries, so I'm actually going to paint it before it dries. So either before your clay dries or after, whatever you prefer. You're going to take a little bit of acrylic paint and just paint over it. And part of the reason I like to paint it before it dries is because I kind of like how the little cracking effect looks sometimes on clay, especially when it's got little imprints like these leaves do. I just think it makes it look really cool. And if you want to make yours a necklace, make sure you poke a hole right at the top, big enough for your twine to go through. And you're gonna let it dry for 24 hours. And once it's dry, it'll be nice and hard, like this one, and you can string your twine through. And actually these kits, we actually have some kits with this craft, so you will be able to grab a clay pendant kit from your local branch and make one of these necklaces at home. Alright you guys, I hope you had a lot of fun doing all of these autumn crafts, and I hope you feel really inspired to get out there and collect some items, maybe make some cool fun things from things you find outside and things you have at home. If you're interested in any of the materials that we talked about at our library, you can always call your local branch or come visit us, or you can check out our website at www.mylpl.info. We have a lot of fun programs offered this fall, so we look forward to seeing you guys around the branches this season. So bye, have a good time.